Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in and welcome to yet another session of Contributor Roadmap series. Contributor Roadmaps is a step-by-step approach towards open source contributions with interactive sessions and mentorship. This is Sankalp Swami from Aviyel's community team. If you're someone who is looking forward to gain exposure as a first-time contributor to a particular open source project or open source in general, this is definitely an opportunity you wouldn't want to miss out on. The contributor roadmaps link will be dropped in the chat section by our team shortly. Today we have Mohmed Ishak, web developer intern at AirAsia, who will be introducing us to one of the most famous popular libraries of JavaScript, that is React.js. Hey Ishak, over to you.
Hey guys, so I'm Ishak. I'm from Malaysia. I'm a writer at Aviyel. I write articles at Aviyel, for Aviyel. How many of you? Okay, 9 of you are here. Okay, let's do this. Why don't you guys? Okay, today what we're gonna do is that I'm gonna teach you React.js. But before that, why don't you guys tell me what's your level of proficiency in React? Are you like a beginner? Are you like a super beginner? Are you like an expert? Whatever. Can you tell me, because it's like 10 of us, so yeah, it's a very chill session, you know. I assume you're a beginner. You're a beginner, okay. So yeah, I assume you're a beginner. Anyway, now it's 12:30 Malaysia. That's like 10 a.m. 10 p.m. Indian time. So I'll try to keep it short. Okay. We're gonna learn React. What is React? Okay. I haven't prepared very crazily for this, so I'm just gonna freestyle. Okay. So let me just give you a story. I'll give you a story, like how the web works. So basically, web, you've got a lot of programming languages, right? Python, Java, JavaScript, and whatever. For web, on the right side, did anyone chat? Did anyone? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see. Okay. Siddharth, check out the roadmap. Danish, Salim, hey man, extra super newbie. Rawan, oh, Rawan, extra super newbie. Okay, only now I see. Yeah, let me know. Put it in the chat box if you're a beginner or like an expert or you're intermediate. I'm very glad 2 people replied. Okay, good. So let me tell you a story, okay? You're a super newbie. I'm so happy because you're a newbie, so I can teach you the right way, okay? So let me tell you a story, okay? Not a story, but let me explain how the web works. You've got a lot of languages, right? Python, Java, JavaScript, whatever. You want to build an app, you can use JavaScript, you can use Java or Swift, whatever. Okay, you want to do a machine learning model, whatever, you can use Python or Julia or whatever, okay? But web, it's special, right? If you want to build a web component, usually you should only use, there's only like one option for now, JavaScript. Of course, there are like other options like Blazor or something, I don't know, but mainly that's just JavaScript, okay? So you cannot escape JavaScript. You have to learn JavaScript. There's like no escape. There's no alternative. JavaScript is like the only language that's going to help you build web front end. Okay, front end means whatever you can see, the buttons and the chat box and the design and this, you know, like my screen over here, all of that stuff, things you can see, the front end, there's only one option, which is JavaScript. You can only use JavaScript, okay? For backend, which is what you don't see, the database and whatever processing, you can use whatever language. You can use Node, you can use PHP or Java or whatever, okay? But for front end, that's just JavaScript. The problem is JavaScript, it's good. It's very powerful. It's very good. A lot of people, they like it. I like it. A lot of people like it. But to write something, it takes you have to write a lot of code to implement something. Let's say you want to put a button and then an image on top of it, and then whatever. I mean, whatever you want to implement, okay? You want to build something like Instagram, it takes, you need to write a lot of code. The thing is, you have to write a lot of code, okay? And then there's like a little bit of duplication, and it just sucks, you know? It's boring, and, you know, it's not very pleasant. It's gonna, for any normal person, after some time, they're gonna like lose interest. They just continue in JavaScript because it takes you a lot of code. That's where React comes in, right? React is an abstraction. What is an abstraction? Let me share my screen first. I don't know. Let me just Google it. What is apps? This sucks. Okay. What abstraction means is that you hide all the complexity and then you show you give a simple solution, something like that. Okay. You hide all the complexity. That's what React does. What React does is that it takes all the complex implementation, okay? It takes care of that, and then it gives you a very simple API to work with. So that means, let's say to implement something, let's say this chat box on your right, to do that in JavaScript, let's say it takes you 10,000 lines. The same thing if you were to implement using React.js, it'll take you 1,000 lines. Why? Because React takes care of all the manual, repetitive, boring tasks. It just makes it so easy for you. Okay, that's what React does. Do you guys understand what React does? If yes, put it in chat box. Yes, okay. Danish Salim, I like you, man. Mangrove, yeah, nice. Yeah, that's what it does. It does all the heavy lifting. It makes it easy for you, okay? Nice, 4 people. That's so cool. By the way, I'm also Indian, okay? It's just that I'm in Malaysia. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's so cool. Here's the thing. It does all the it abstracts the complexity. It gives you a simple API to work with. Okay. Now React itself, that tool itself, that library itself, is it built using, what language is it built using on? Is it Python? No, it's built using JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript, it's easy to get into React because React is built on top of JavaScript. So your syntax, you will use JavaScript syntax. Keywords like const, let, var, things like that, all of that. You just transfer your knowledge from JavaScript, you just take it, put it in React, you can use it, okay? Right below the chat button. Oh, how do I do that? There's a question, Q&A section. Okay, now I see. Okay, that's good. How much, before that, if you guys look at on your right, if you see the chat box, below that, there's a button called Q&A. So I'm going to answer the first question. How much experience of JavaScript do I need before I jump to React? I'm about to answer you this question, but I want everyone to listen because this is so important. If you don't listen to this answer that I'm about to tell you, you will end up wasting years or months, okay? Let me tell you something. How much experience of JavaScript do you need, right? Okay. Now, JavaScript is really important. You have to learn JavaScript. All of that stuff, it's important because if no, how are you going to learn React? How are you going to learn React? But I will teach you a shortcut, okay? When I say shortcut, I don't mean like you just jump into React and then you learn whatever on the go, something like that. No. What I mean is that you have to start with JavaScript first and then you go to React. But there's a shortcut, okay? That's what I followed, and then I'm very good React. I think I'm a very good React developer now, and then I learned React very quickly. The thing is, first learn JavaScript, and you learn, well, to answer your question, you have to learn the new syntax of JavaScript. You have to know loop, whatever, all the basic programming stuff, loops, variables, if else, switch case, all of that stuff with latest syntax, ES6 or newer syntax. But there's one catch here. Don't spend too much time in learning DOM, document object model, which is the main thing in JavaScript. Document object model, it's like the main thing in JavaScript, which is used to like change the state of your website. Like you want to change color or change the title or do whatever. That's DOM, right? Document object model. Don't spend too much time on that. It is good. It's very good. Okay. It's very good to learn that. But what I would suggest is that just learn a little bit and then skip to React. Once you're good with React and you can build application, you don't need to write explicitly using JavaScript. And then later on, you can, if you want to like strengthen your knowledge, you can go and like learn DOM in details. But if you learn DOM right away, you want to learn all the complex stuff right away, it'll take you like 1 year or like 1.5 years to complete JavaScript itself. And then on top of that, you want to go to React, that's going to take you another year. It's going to be so long. So what I would suggest is that learn JavaScript without DOM so much, and then just move on to, just learn the basic DOM and then just move on to React. Okay. So how much experience of JavaScript do I need? Yeah, just a little bit. Try to learn the basic stuff in JavaScript, loops, in all programming languages, loops, variables, if else, switch case, whatever, with the latest syntax, ES6, ECMAScript 6, or later. Once you know that, just move on. Also in JavaScript, if you realize there's concept like map, right? Array.map, right? Let me show you. Do you see my screen? Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry, sometimes I explain like, it's a little bit bad. It's a little bit bad, and I talk so much, but the knowledge is gonna be there. So yeah, bear with me, guys. Array.map. So this one is a very basic method in JavaScript, not React, JavaScript, array.map, okay? New numbers.map, whatever, things like that. You see? You know this thing, right? Numbers.map. Let me pull up another link. Okay. Yeah, you see, array.map, x goes to x times 2, things like this. When I was first learning JavaScript, I got so confused at it. Okay. And then I repeated it. I repeated it a million times. Still, I didn't understand. What I did, I said like, okay, let me just stop. Let me just move to React, and then I'll figure it later. Now, when I started learning React, this thing, it made sense because you are actually putting it in practice when you learn React. When you just learn it like by syntax, it's going to confuse the hell out of you because you're not putting it really into practice, okay? But when you go to React and you use the same thing, it'll really make sense because everything is visual and you will actually put it into practice. So another lesson is that, first I told you don't spend too much time on DOM, right? The second lesson is in array.map or array.reduce or array.splice, array methods, all the array methods, learn it, try to understand it. But if you don't like really get it after 3, 4, 5, 6 attempts, it's okay, chill. Just move on to React because in React, you will use it a lot. And when you learn React, you will understand it, okay? So I hope I answered the question. Okay, good. So where was I? Yeah, that's what React does. Okay, now we're gonna start building, guys. We're gonna start building right away. I think I took like 15 minutes, but it's okay. Okay, we'll take it slow. We're gonna start building. So you're seeing my screen, right? Are you guys seeing my screen? You're sharing. Okay, that's good. Okay, now we're gonna build. Okay, what do you need to install? You need to install Node.js. Okay, what is Node.js? It's a runtime environment for JavaScript. That means you can execute JavaScript everywhere, not just your browser. Traditionally, you can only download on execute on a browser, but now Node.js you can also execute it outside of a browser. That means you can build React application on your Visual Studio Code, things like that. Okay, go and download Node.js. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, very good question. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, let me know if that's question and I don't see it. Okay, just ask me questions, guys, and then I'll just stop and then I'll just answer a question and then we'll proceed. Okay, just knowledge of these topics is enough, or do we need to make projects? Knowledge is not really. Knowledge is a joke, man. Knowledge, it's good to know, whatever. It's like a joke. It doesn't even matter. I mean, it does matter. It's not very serious. You have to have a project because once you build your project, it'll stick for like 10 years, you know. But if you watch a video 10 times, it might look like you understand, you might even understand it, but most of the time, it's not going to really click in your mind. But when you put it in practice, you build project, even once you implement it, it's gonna, your mind will like adapt to like how, like you will think, and your mind will know how to think and how to retain that information for years. So the answer is, projects really important. It's really important, but that doesn't mean you learn React and then you try to build it on your own. No, because you're a beginner. What you do, you go to YouTube. There are a lot of people who post React tutorials, React projects. Okay, go ahead and just copy them 100%. You copy them, and then see where you can change. Can you change the color? Can you change the text size? Can you change the design a little bit? Can you change the implementation just a little bit? You just do that initially. And then you repeat that. The second time, you build another project by just copying, but this time you make more changes. Maybe this time, instead of when you click a button, instead of it doing something, now it does a little bit differently. You're still copying, but you're making more changes, and then you just repeat it. Eventually, it's gonna get in your head. You'll be able to build your own project because there is one specific pattern. Once your mind knows that pattern, it's gonna be so easy for you to master React. I think this project is important, but don't worry. You don't have to do it by yourself. You can just copy people initially for the first 3, 4, 5, even 100 projects. You can copy from people until you understand. You have a lot of time, so relax. Yeah, project is important, but don't worry. You can copy people. Okay. Anyway, you go ahead and download Node.js. I already downloaded it for your machine. If it's Mac, download it. Download the Mac version. If it's Windows, download the Windows version. Once you download it, you have to download it. It'll take some time, but I've already downloaded it, so I'm not gonna wait. You can review. In case you didn't download, you can review this recording later. But it's also very good. You can just sit back, relax, and watch me like watching a movie, so that you're 100% focused. Okay. Once you download that Node.js, verify if you have Node downloaded. So what you do, just open up your terminal, type Node. They'll tell you, welcome to Node or something like that, okay? I'm using a Mac, so that's why it's like this. If you're using Windows, you open command prompt and then just type Node. It's the same thing. And then it'll show you welcome to Node or whatever. If no, it'll give you some error, okay? Right now we have Node. Actually, I know, by the way, I know I'm talking a lot, but I know you guys are beginners, and for beginners, you have to talk a lot. You have to go slowly, and then I know this is how you will learn. So yeah. Is everything good until now? Is anyone stuck? The sooner you start playing with the code, the faster you will learn concept. Build a project as you go through trials. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Okay. Is anyone stuck? If not, we're good. Okay. You download Node first. Okay. Then, I forgot what to do. Let me just Google it. How to build a React. Let me just Google it, guys. Actually, I'm a very new programmer. You download that. Okay. Once you do that, okay. Which Node version download? Just download any latest stable version. It'll say LTS. That means it's stable. It's not gonna have a lot of errors. I think the latest is 16 or something like that. 16, 15. It doesn't matter. Just download it. The new one, the newest one. Okay. But make sure it's LTS, because if you download the other version, you will get a lot of errors. It's gonna it's gonna mentally kill you. Download the LTS version. Okay. So now you have Node. I assume you have Node. Even if you don't have, it's okay. Just relax and watch me. And let me tell you one good news. Okay, one good news. It's very good news. A lot of people on YouTube, they are very smart. Okay, and they teach you React very well, very well. Okay. Everything is good. Very good production code, very clean code. The design looks amazing. Everything is so clean. The only problem is that they are very good. That's the problem. They cannot relate with the beginners so much, But me, because I'm also not very good, I'm just okay. I'm an okay programmer. I'm not an expert programmer. I'm just okay. I can relate with the beginner so much so that I can feel you, how you're thinking, what your level of knowledge is. So I can relate to you. So the thing I'm about to teach you, I hope it's going to really click in your mind. Now we have Node. Okay. Node can do a lot of stuff. Okay. We want to create React project, right? Do this, npx. Npx is like a tool which comes with Node. Don't worry too much about it. We'll talk some other time. You can Google it. Npx create React app. Type that. Create React app, space, and then npx create React app, and then space, whatever project name that you want. Make sure there's no space or something. There's no space. You can put hyphen or underscore something, but no space. Okay. Let me write Aviyel or something. Okay. What it's gonna do is that it's gonna do some magic. It'll download all the code. It'll download the boilerplate. Boilerplate is like a template for you to get started with. You don't want to like write every single line of code, right? You want like React to give you like some starting point and then you add on top of it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're doing right now. We're starting a new React project, and then this thing, NPX, is downloading from the internet some like basic, very basic template, React template. Okay, so with that you can like build on top of it without you having to write very trivial, like boring stuff. Okay, it'll take some time. So let me just wait. While waiting, any question or something, or is anyone stuck, or like did you lose an interest or something? Is it boring? Let me know. Let me know. It's a very chill session. But what I think is that I think you will gain a lot of things from this session, you know, because this is very real and natural. I hope so. Let me know if I'm talking too much or I'm boring or like I don't know, just tell me. Or if you're stuck. Wait, someone texting me. Just 1 second, guys. Just 1 second, guys. Okay. Well, you're not boring. I am boring, man. I'm very boring. Thanks. We haven't even started yet. We're just like starting to, you know, we're just starting to get started. Okay, whatever. Now that it has done all the magic, it'll tell you like happy hacking or something like that. Okay. Okay, now that project is there. Okay. But okay, my mistake. I put it in the root. I didn't put it on my desktop. I put it in the root. It's okay. I'll try to move it. Let me just figure out. Move a folder to another. I think MV. Yeah. So what I did is that I put it in the root. I didn't put it in desktop. You should put it in desktop or downloads or whatever that familiar with you, whatever that you like. Okay, it's up to you. Right now, I put it in the root. That's why when I type ls, I'm now in the root, and then that folder, Aviyel, it's here. I should put it in desktop instead. Okay. If you are in Windows, you will click command prompt below, right? Or CMD. You will click Windows plus R, and then you'll type CMD, right? Usually something like that. You type ls first, okay? Ls. It'll show you where you are, and then you move into desktop or something, and only then you npx create React app, so that you get it in desktop. So you will see a folder over here. What I did is that I made a mistake. I put it over here, but it's okay. I will move it right now. So I'm going to use a Linux command. Move Aviyel to /. I'm not sure if it's like this. Move Aviyel to /. I think it's like this. Damn. This is so complex, man. Let me Google it. Move folder 1. Damn. Okay, whatever. I don't know. I'm bad at Linux. Okay. I mean, I forgot Linux. Okay. Anyway, you will see this thing. You will see your folder, Aviyel, okay, on your desktop or something like that. If you're on Windows, just drag and drop it on your desktop or something. But for some reason, I made a mistake. Oh, no. Yeah, I did it correctly. Guys. I did it correctly. I used the Linux command to move it into desktop. Now I'm in desktop, and when I click ls, when I type ls, that folder is here. Yeah, I did it correctly. Yeah, right. So, yeah, you're right, man. Mangrove, you are so right. It's just me. I'm very silly. You are right. Yeah, it's here. Okay, now we want to open it on VS Code, right? So what I'll do, I will get inside the folder first. I'll type cd Aviyel. Okay. Now I'm inside Aviyel, okay, that folder. I'll type code period, code space period. That means it'll open in my favorite code editor. It's Visual Studio. Sometimes when you type code space period, it's not going to show you, it's not going to open it in Visual Studio Code. It's not going to open at all because you didn't set that thing. To set it, I don't know. You just Google it how to do it. But there are some like very basic commands. Sometimes it'll automatically set. If no, you have to do something. You just Google it. But if no, you just go to Visual Studio Code. You drag that thing and then you just drop it here. Drag the folder. You just drop it here. It'll also open. It's the same thing. But what I did, I used command. Okay. Now, let's do this, guys. We have this terminal, right? We can use this terminal or we can use integrated terminal. I'm sure you guys know that in Visual Studio Code. I'll just use this terminal, okay? Without even looking at the code, let's go ahead and start the project. So what do you do to start the project? You type npm start. I know I'm going very slow, but it's okay because you guys are beginners. I have to go slow. You type npm start. When you do that, it'll start the project on your browser. What's the URL? Localhost port 3000. Okay, that's the URL. Okay, so this is your React project. What happened right now? React, remember it down initially when we typed npx create React app, it downloaded some stuff, right? What it downloaded, it's like this template, this logo, this spinning logo, and then this word and this link and this background, whatever. It downloaded that, okay? And also a bunch of stuff, okay? So this is a project which React already built by default. Now we have to change it, okay? So let's go get inside the code, okay? Let's see what's going on, the structure. As you can see, it'll intimidate you. It's gonna scare you when you're a beginner. So let's go ahead and see, okay? One by one. Actually, I know it'll take some time, but it's okay because you guys are beginners. Let me know if I should go fast or should I go slow, something like that. But anyway, I'll go a little bit slower because, you're a beginner and it's gonna... So this is README. When you put it in GitHub, you can write some instruction. It's not code. It's just like some instructions, okay? Okay, package log.json, I'll ignore this. I know what that is. I'll explain to you. What package.json is that this project is a JavaScript project, right? It's just a JavaScript project, but we are using React. So you see what happened? React is downloaded in this project automatically, okay? But for some reason, let's say you want to implement something, but you don't want to do it manually. Let's say there's already a library or a package which does that for you. So you want to download it and put it on your project, right? So you will download it and then the name will be available here. For example, let's go, let me just Google it. Popular what? Popular npm package. So for example, let's say you want to upload a picture. You will, instead of you implementing by yourself, instead of you writing millions of lines of code, you can use this package, Cloudinary. So you'll go and download it, and then the name Cloudinary will be available here, okay, with the version, okay, and then you can use it, okay, something like that. To download something, there is a command, but I'll tell you later on. In the second project, we're building two projects. One is beginner, like very new, basic project. The second one is a little bit good project, okay. This one is like the beginner project. So this package.json is to download libraries and dependencies, okay? Git ignore, whatever. It's for you to upload to Git. We don't focus on that right now. Let me make it a little bit big. And then you expand source, okay? This is where most of the stuffs are, okay? Public, don't look at it right now. It's not important right now. Of course, you can go here, change the title, whatever, but don't look at it right now. It's not important. Okay. SRC, that means source. It has majority of the main code, like 99% of the main code is here inside source, okay? What about node modules? Let's take a look at node modules, okay? Let's just see what's going on. Expand this. I see there are like a lot of folders. Let me expand one of them, and I expand, and expand, and I click, and I expand more, and I click one of them, and I don't understand anything that's going on. It's too complex. There's like millions of files. Should you understand this? No. You know what this is? This is dependencies. Remember I told you, let's say you want to download, you want to upload your picture. You can use the Cloudinary package, right? So what you do, you download Cloudinary package. When you download it, it's like pretty much a software. Cloudinary is like a software. So the code for Cloudinary will be stored in Node modules, okay? And then tomorrow you download another package, Axios, okay? The code for Axios will be stored in Node modules, okay? So because the code is there, you can use it, right? What happens if you delete Node modules? For some reason, you just delete it. Let's say you delete it. I'll just move to trash. There's no Node modules. Let's go back to my browser, okay? You see, everything is messed up because it says what? Your module not found, whatever, okay? But I deleted it, okay? I deleted it completely. What can I do now? Do you know what I can do? I can restore it. I can restore it easily. Even if I give it to my friend, he can restore it. And do you know why? Is it because he memorized it? Do you need to like memorize which package you used or something like that? No. You don't need to like put any pressure on yourself. You don't need to memorize, no, nothing. Everything, all the package that are lost can be recovered easily because of package.json. Why? Package.json, it has all the record of all dependencies, for example, React, with the version. So even if you delete Node modules, no problem, because package.json will tell you which Node modules exactly to download, okay? Yeah, so now we have this Node modules, but it doesn't have anything. Let me restore Node modules, okay? I'm not sure how it ended up here, but let me just delete it. So let me restore Node modules. How I will do that? We don't have Node modules, right? We want Node modules. So what we do, you go to terminal. Okay, you Control C. Whether you're on Mac or Windows, press Control plus C to stop React. Okay, you type this npm install. That means install all the dependencies that are in package.json. Right now we just have like a couple of them, React DOM, something like that. But if you have like a lot more libraries like Axios and whatever, it'll automatically, this command will download all the dependencies. Okay, now let's download it. We haven't started building anything yet, guys. I'm just showing you how React is, because like, so that you don't like, once you face some kind of issues, you don't like freak out, okay? Okay, let's close that. Now let's go to SRC. By the way, let me look at comment. Did you guys comment anything? Guys, let me know if I'm like moving too slow, okay? Now, SRC, it's like the main thing, right? It has a lot of stuff, but I don't want to scare you, right? Setup.js, setup test. It's for testing. We're not going to test. You can even delete it. Let's delete it. Okay, let's not delete it. Let's just ignore it. We don't care about this. This one, I think it's what is that? Something like that. It's not. It doesn't matter. It's not important. Logo is what? Logo is this thing. Let me reload. Oh, I have to start, right? I have to start. You see this logo? This spinning logo? Yeah, that's the logo. So you can delete it if you don't want. I'll just keep it here. Usually people will ignore. Index.js, it's like the main file. You don't need to know now. You don't need to know now. When you start building a real project, you will know. Like, it's not very difficult, but let's not take a look at it now. There's nothing here right now. Index CSS, it has all the CSS. Okay, app.css also have a lot of CSS. Usually you have two files, right? You can index is like usually you store global CSS. For example, for the entire project, make it have 10 pixel margin wherever you are in whatever page. in login page, sign up page, logout page, profile page, whatever page. If you want to apply 10 pixel margins, something like that, or if you want to apply a red color background, like a global CSS, you will put it in index.css. But if it's something related to specific component, you'll put it here. Just a normal CSS file, okay? Nothing crazy. If you want, you can mix it up. It's up to you. There's no like hard and fast rule, okay? app.test.js for testing, we don't care about that. What we care app.js. Out of all these files, you only care about app.js now, okay? Now, we're gonna start. Is everyone ready? Is anyone stuck or something? Or is anyone scared? You think, if you think like this is too much, something, let me know. Let me see like what you're thinking. Type down like what you're thinking right now. We haven't started yet. Now we're gonna start. It's gonna get serious right now. Let me see what you're thinking. Just type something. I'll come back in a while. Great, keep going. Danish Salim, do you work at Aviyel or something? I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're gonna start now, guys. App.js, we're gonna start now. Okay, now you're gonna learn React in a way that's gonna like really like get in your mind, and it's gonna set a really good foundation for you. Okay. Now, is it a complete React course which covers everything, routing, authentication, blah blah, whatever? No, this is not. Okay. This is not it. For that, you can watch a lot of YouTube videos, but this is like a little bit more than that. I would say more than that. It's less, it's shorter, but it's more than that in the sense that we set the right foundation, and I tell you a story. I don't teach you like a robot. I tell you a real story, like what's going on right here, so that when you go to YouTube and you find some guy who's very good and you watch his videos, everything's gonna click in your mind. Everything's gonna smoothly go inside your mind, okay? All the knowledge is gonna get into your mind real quick. Really nice, okay? We're gonna set the right foundation. Everything's gonna be good, okay? Import statement. This is how we import it, okay? We are importing the logo, so because you want to use it here, right? Okay. So let's, yeah. If you know Node.js, you know what happened? How you'll do that? You'll do it something like this. Import statement is going to be something like this. Const logo equals require logo, something like that, right? But now you use this syntax. Import whatever you want from your pod, okay? Same with this, okay? Now, return a lot of stuff, right? Don't get confused. Let me just delete everything, okay? Let's see what's the result. There is literally nothing. This is a blank canvas. There's no nothing. We're going to get started from scratch, okay? Okay. Let me just delete this thing. Let me just delete everything. Okay. Now, here's the thing. The idea behind React is that you return a component. That's all it is. You just return a component. Of course, you can change some data, do whatever. The thing is just return something so that you return something to the browser like Google Chrome so that it can display that. So let's return something. Return H1, like a HTML tag, you know. And I say hello. And I press save. I just return this. Let's see what happens. You see what happens? We returned a component or an element or component to the browser. So the browser displayed it. That's it. Okay. Let me, this semicolon is not important. You can delete it. But my extension or something, when I save it, I have this extension called prettier, okay? When I save it, it formats the code to make it look nice, okay? So that's why it's like that, okay? So I recommend you to download this prettier extension so it'll format your code. It'll make it look nice and whatever, okay? Now, I want to return another H1 or a H2, like HTML, okay? Let me close this. Let me return H2 and I say, hello, Aviyel, something like that, and I save it. Okay. You see there's a problem, okay? You see why there's a problem? Let's read the code. Adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in enclosing tag. Did you want a JSX fragment? Okay. The problem is that the idea behind React is that you only want to return to the browser one element, just one thing. What is happening here? We're returning h1, okay, and also returning h2. There's two stuff going on. It broke the rule. You just want to return one thing, right? So what can we do now? Like logically, without thinking about React, you have two stuff, but you can only return one stuff. What can you do? You can take two stuff, put it in one box, you close the box, you give it to the browser. Now, that box, it's one box. So it's got to be good, right? Because that box, it's one box, but inside of the box, you have two stuff. It doesn't matter. So we're going to take the same approach. How you're going to do that? You're going to encapsulate this thing in a container. What is the container? What kind of container? It's called div. Okay. Yeah, like in HTML or something. Do you have div in HTML? Yeah, you have, yeah, in div, okay? And then just put it inside, okay? Now, this div has two stuff inside of it. It's good, right? Okay. But if you look at the browser, it wouldn't show you anything, because if you look at the code really well, really closely, you are returning what? You're returning nothing, because in React you have to return the element. After the return keyword, you have to type the element, at least one character or two character. Okay. For example, the first div, you put it here. Okay, that's good because it's beside div. Okay, so you save it. Okay, now this will work because you know why? Okay, now it's here. Hello and hello Aviyel. H1, H2, it's here because we put it in one div. But do you see, like here we've got one parenthesis here, right? And here, okay. Before this, I told you this div you have to put it here, right? But now we have parentheses. Why it worked? Because the parenthesis, it's part of the div. React will automatically format. Even without this thing, put it like this, it will work, no problem. But my prettier extension, it wants to like make it look very nice. So when I save it, it makes it look nice. Okay, this is also possible. Okay, everything is good. Okay, now let me show you. Let me just wear my glasses because actually I'm not. I didn't memorize everything in my mind. I have another screen over there, so I'm just gonna look at that and I'm gonna type the code. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Let me. This is going cool, bro. Are you lying? Okay, I'm just kidding. Anyway, if this is slow or something, just tell me. If it's this fast or something, just tell me. Because what I want is to just like make you really understand React. Like I want to lay out a very strong foundation so that when you watch any videos, everything's just going to click on your mind. And then you're going to love Aviyel so much. And then you will join Aviyel. Okay. Yeah, joking. Okay. So what kind of components do you have in React? You have H1, H2, H3, 4, 5, 6. You have button, basically all the HTML components. You have everything. In HTML, you have button, right? You have button, right? You also have it here. What else do you have? You have form, right? You have that in HTML, right? You also have it here. You have all the stuff that HTML has. Okay. Let's close this. Okay. Let's do one thing. Okay. Okay. There's one more thing. There's one shortcut. Let me tell you. When I type H1 in Visual Studio Code and I type enter, it doesn't autocomplete. The angular bracket, it doesn't like come up on its own, right? I want it to like automatically generate because I want to move fast. I want to type fast. What I do, on your bottom right, it says JavaScript, right? So you're telling the machine, Visual Studio Code, that this is JavaScript file. This is not. I mean, this is, but you want to tell it that this is a React file. So you click that, and then you type React. Okay. This is React. Okay. So now this changed into React, right? So now, because you did that, when I type H1 and I type enter, it auto-completes the tag for me, angular bracket. It's good. Before this, we didn't have that. So that's pretty cool. So welcome to Aviyel. This is pretty basic. You already know. It's going to show you like a basic tag. Welcome to Aviyel. Yeah, boring, very boring, very ugly, very boring. I know that, but it's okay. In HTML, you can style this, right? You can also style this, but let's keep that aside for now. Let's move on. Let's put a button, okay? Click me to witness some magic. Okay. You have this button. Click me to witness some magic, right? Let me click this. Nothing happening because I didn't do anything, right? I didn't program this button. It's just a button. Okay. Now, in JavaScript, you have on click, right? The same thing, you have it here on click. But in JavaScript, what happens? You can write on click in camel case, which means like the first, every letter is like capitalized except the first letter, right? Or you can make everything small case, right, in JavaScript. But in React, you should put it in camel case, like this. Okay. Now, on click equals an empty curly brace, okay? And then you should pass a function here, okay? Preferably arrow function. So this is arrow function, right? This is arrow function. This is how it looks, okay? You can console.log or do whatever you want when the button is clicked. So what I'll do window.alert. You have clicked me, okay? Window.alert. Once you click, you window.alert, okay? Window.alert is like a very basic JavaScript thing where there's gonna be a pop-up that's gonna alert you with something. So let's see if that happens, okay? I'm gonna click this. I think I should reload. Something it gets stuck. Yeah, when I click, it says you have clicked me, right? When I click, you have clicked me. So on click, you should always pass a function, okay? And then in that function, do whatever. Maybe you want to like declare a variable. Let's say const number equals 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2. That's 3, right? You have clicked me, and then you wanna put number. You wanna get fancy or something like that. Let me reload it. What? Not sure why it's like this. Maybe I should do this. Is it like that? Yeah, you have clicked me 3. You have that, right? You can do a lot of stuff, okay? So let me just delete it, okay? Let me delete this thing. Okay, you can do a lot of stuff, okay? That's button, okay? And then, okay, now this is going to be a really simple project, okay? There's going to be a really simple project, okay? Now we're going to get a little bit more advanced, okay? This is a simple project, but after this, I'm going to show you a good project, okay? We're doing 2 projects. This is the first one. It's a little bit simple, just to get you started, just to warm you up, okay? We've got button, okay? Now, what you will do in website? What will you do on website usually? Like, let's not go to YouTube, for example. Okay, what's going on right now? Like, what is going on? Like, look, okay, you just have like data, right? You've got data, like some data. You're displaying that data, right? Let's go to, I don't know, Twitter or something. That's me. Let's go to Twitter. You see what's going on. What is going on? What is going on in the software? Like, you've got data. You're displaying that data, right? There are people who tweeted something, and then you're just displaying that, right? That's what's happening, right? Everywhere, in every page, that's what you're doing. How will you do that in React? Okay, because website is about that. Look at this page. They're displaying something, right? You don't want to manually type. Like here, maybe they manually typed everything. You don't want to do that. You want to make it automated such that people can delete it and things like that. You want to make it dynamic and make it look good, you know? Okay. For example, like let's go to erasure.com. or something, maybe like not erasure or something, maybe like okay, for example, I want to buy food. Okay, you see now we have these stuff, right? These traveling places, right? You don't want to hard code it. You don't want to make it fixed. You don't want to do that. You want to make it automatic, such that, for example, for some reason they close down this place or something like that. You don't want to show this thing. Okay, you want to make it dynamic. How would you do that? Okay, for that you have to know how to display the data. Okay, the data that you get. Okay, so here's how you do that. You want to display, basically the idea is that, I know I confuse you so much. The thing is that in every page you will display data, right? That's what you will do. You will not like manually type the data, every data, but you will display it, right? You want to automatically render it. So how you do that? Actually, you will get the data from the database, right? Or the backend usually, but we're not, this is not a backend course. This is like just the React course. So for that, I will hard code the data here, okay? But in the real scenario, the data will come from backend or something like that, in database or something like that, okay? But it's the same thing, don't worry so much, okay? I'll just write some data, okay? Once data equals, it's an array. Someone message me. Data is an array. Name. Name. Call. Age 69. Then another object. Name. We have, for example, then age 9. Then last one. Name. Okay. Age. This is an example data. In real life, it might be an image, it might be a tweet, a video, whatever. Okay, but right now it's just like name and age, objects which have name and age each. Okay, now we want to display it. How will you do that? Okay, for that, this is not very specific to React. This is specific to JavaScript, but you will use it in React a lot. Okay, so let me read the comments. Anyone commented anything? Okay. Okay. So let's display it. Okay. Now you see this H1, it's static, right? It's like there's nothing dynamic about this. This one, it's static, right? It's like it's fixed there. It's not going to change a lot. It's not going to change. But this data is going to change. Maybe today you have 3 data. Tomorrow some guy come and added a new data, and the next day some guy comes and deletes all the data, something like that. It's going to constantly change. For things that constantly change, or things you want to dynamically render, you put a curly brace. Inside the curly brace, you put H1 or whatever that you want, okay? But right now, we want to render the data, right? So data, which is this object, okay? Dot map. This is a JavaScript function, not a React function, but we will use in React extensively. Data.map, HD, or whatever, X, A, B, C, whatever you want, goes to let's say H1, D.name. So we're rendering it over here. We're just taking the name. Let's see what happens. Yeah, we get all the names here, right? Look what I did. I wrote this thing. I wrote this very sleek code, and then we got this, right? Sankar Aviyel. Okay. What happened? This is JavaScript, not React, but I'll just brief you. Data.map. You want to map everything such that you give it a variable. For each line, you give it a variable. D, this is another D, this is another D. For every round, you put a H1. Or it can be whatever. It can be a card, it can be a box, it can be a button, whatever. Okay. And then in that H1, you want to take D.name, which is this one. You don't want to take H. Do you want H? Let's say you want H. And then you write a P tag. Okay. D.H. Do you see like this one? I didn't just write like D.H right away. I put it in curly brace. Why? Because this is not a fixed value. This is not a fixed string. This is dynamic. It can change. today the age for this guy, it might be 12, the next guy might be 99, the next guy might be 89, the next guy is 75, whatever. It's gonna change, right? So that's why you put it here. You put it in curly brace, okay. But remember, I told you initially the magic rule. You should return one stuff, right? Right. Now you're returning to H1 and P, so you put it in a div. Now you have one stuff. Now this is good, okay. So I zoom in, Sankalp 69, Aviyel 9, Siddharth like 12. Okay, it's good. Actually, there's another way, which is to remove the div right away. Remove the div completely. Remove the div, okay. Someone's messaging me. Okay, you just put the div, okay. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to teach you that. It's a little bit complex. It'll confuse you. Okay. Now here's the thing. That's what React is. That is React. It's very simple, right? Okay. Let's do one thing. Do you guys understand what React is? Like, you just display some data. Of course, there's like other stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll try to end this in 30 minutes time. Okay. So do you guys understand? Let me see your comment. Do you guys, everything's good? Because now we'll get to a more serious project. Okay. So I'll just show you one thing before we move on to the project. So React is all about reusable component. Okay. Reusable component means, right, instead of you writing everything in one shot, you separate this component, okay, to their needs. Okay. Maybe for here, these two, maybe you can take them out, put it in another file, call it like the header component. This one, you can put it like, you can say it's a card, something like that, okay? So let's try to do that, okay? You go to SRC, I create a new component. Maybe like employee.jsx, okay? I have an extension which lets me type a component very fast, so I'm gonna do that, RSF. This is the syntax, okay? So what you will do, let me type something. Let me reply something. Ram Kumar. Yeah, okay. So you guys are with me? Okay, that's good. Okay. Now, what we're gonna do is that everything is here, right? All the stuff are here. Let's take this portion out. Okay, this div right here, which I'm highlighting, which has H1 and P. Take it out, put it in another component, and then let's import that thing here. If you do that, one thing is promised for you, which is your code will look cleaner. Now we have 4 lines, right? If you do what I say, you take this implementation, put it somewhere else, you will only have 1 line of code. It's going to be clean. Okay, let's try to do that. Okay, this is the thing, right? This is the template, right? You install. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is the extension. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one of the extension is prepare. This one is to make it look good. Bro, Sankal, one more thing. If I'm dragging this or like if I'm slow, just tell me. Okay, just tell me. Sankal, you're done. Yeah. Let me know. The first extension is prettier, so it'll make your code look good. Even if you type ugly code, everything's like all over, very bad space and inconsistent stuff. It'll make it look good. The second one is for this thing, right? For your code snippet, that is. Let me see. That's. I think it's. Let me see. I did it like years ago. Yeah, this one. React Native /React/Redux snippets for ES6 by eQuimper. It has got 857,000 downloads, 5-star rating. Yeah, that's the thing that I use, With that, I just have to type RSF. It'll give me like a template to create a new component. So that thing is that it'll import React. It'll make a function with the name of my file. It'll take props, return div. I'll talk about props in a bit, okay? Now, our goal is what? Instead of writing this explicitly over here, making the file so long, we want to take this line 22 until 25, put it somewhere, and then you just import that one line of code, okay? How you'll do that? I copy this thing, okay? I come back here. I will just paste it here. Of course, I can delete this extra div if I want to, okay? Now, okay, this is the same thing. This is the same thing. And then I paste it, okay. Now, this component has div, has h1, has p. Inside of that, you've got d.name, right? d.h. Now, this is the problem. Everything else is good, okay? And then you're exporting it over here. Everything is good. The problem is that A, B, C, d.name and d.age, it only makes sense over here in this line, right? Because data.map, and then you gave it a variable name d. It only makes sense here. It never, ever, ever, it doesn't make sense here in this file. What is d? Like d, what is d? You don't know d, right? So you'll do what? Give it a new variable name, which makes more sense. Like just name, and then just age. Okay. Now, this one, it's a little bit better, but still it doesn't make sense. Where is name? Where is age? Where is it? The thing is, we will, what I told you, I will use this component and put it over there, right? Put it over here, right? Instead of this long implementation, I will write it here, the implementation, and then I'll write like one simple sleek line of code over here, right? Okay. If I want to do that, this guy, data.map, has to supply that component all the necessary data, correct or no? Like data.map, now it's giving d.name and d.age, right? For this h1 and p. But if I were to like put a component here, it has to be fair, right? It has to also give d.name, d.age to that component, yes or no? Is anyone confused? Let me know. Save so much of effort. Yeah, man, you're welcome. I'm trying to do it the right way, although it's taking some time, but yeah. Do you guys understand like what I'm about to say? Like now, this data.map, d goes to div h1p. This d is supplying d.name, d.age, something like that, right? If another component comes, instead of this implementation, you have to also supply d.name and d.age to that component, right? And then internally, that component will take care, right? So that's what's going to happen. Let's comment this code out. Okay, let's just import the component here. Let's import first, and then I'll tell you like the solution. So import employee from, yeah. Okay, so I import an employee, and this is how I will write the employee, okay? I import an employee, right? Just do it, put it like this in one self-closing tag, okay? Put it like this. Now, here's the problem. Let's go back. Yeah, name is not defined, age is not defined, okay? We have this employee, okay? This employee, to your eyes, it's very clean, it's very nice. It's one line. Yeah, right, yeah, sure. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me reply something. Okay, come again. Of course, you can write a component to store data. I mean, you wouldn't have component to store data. You will usually put it in another file if you want to, right? You will not create a component to store data. What is a component? Component is to show something, is to show a button, to show h1 tag, to show a red color, beautiful text, to show image, to show something. Data is something you don't see in the front end. Like directly, right? So if you want to put in another file, you put it in another file. You take this file, you create a new file like, data.js, not JSX. JSX is for component. You write data.js, you write a normal JavaScript file, and then you export data, you export it. Export cons data, okay? And then you can use it in that file, okay? You can do that. To answer your question, no, you don't use component to store data. Component is to show something. If you want to take this data, put it somewhere else, you put it in a new file, but that's not a component. You don't need to write function like this import React and then function, whatever. You don't need to do that. You just put your data here and then you can download it. Am I clear, or did I confuse the hell out of you? I'm sorry, guys. I'm not very good at explaining, but was I clear? That one? Yes, understood. Okay, yeah. Now, where was I? Before this, we did what? We have a div. We did a h1 d.name d.h, something like that. Okay. Now we have this employee. Okay. This employee, if you look inside of it, it's ready. It's ready to show you the name. It's ready to show you the h. It's ready. It's very ready. The problem is that we are not giving the employee the data that it wants, right? We're not being fair. Because before this, we were being fair. We give h1 what it needs. We give it the name. We give p what it needs, d.h. But employee, it wants some data, because if you look inside of employee, you have name and age, but we're not giving that. So go ahead and give that. We give two data. Let's call it name and age, okay? What is name? Is it Sankal? You can do that. If it's like string, a fixed string, it's not going to change. You put it in string, like this name. But this one, it'll change constantly, right? So instead of string, you write curly brace. And then you write d.name. The same thing before this. Same goes with age. Age equals d.age. Okay. Now employee, we were giving it name and age. Same like before. But before this, we wrote long line of code. Now this is encapsulated inside this file, right? Okay. The thing is, we are giving employee what it wants. We're giving it. Why? Because like we're writing this, right? We're giving it. But employee has to capture the data and show it, right? How is it going to capture the data? If you look very closely here, there's props, right? Props means whatever data that's given to you. Sometimes someone will give you the data. Sometimes people will not give you data. Right now, is someone giving you data? Yes. Someone giving you name and age, right? So you can capture that. If you want to capture that, you see props, you append this with props. Props.name and props.age. Okay. Props means like the data that someone else gives you. So the data that someone else gives you, .name, props.age. So let's see the website. My website. You see, now it works. What we have done is that instead of we writing like explicitly over here, we put it in one single file, and now we only have one line of code. This is clean. This is called clean code. Okay, it's good. This is how you do it in React. Okay, but there's also one more thing. You see props.name, props.age, something like that. You will have a lot of props all the time in React. So you don't want to like props a million times, right? So what do you do? Instead of that, you capture it right away in this thing, name and age. Okay, name and age, because that's what they give you. You just capture it. You put it in curly brace. Now you remove props dot and props dot over here. Okay, name and age. It's the same thing. It'll still work. You see, it'll still work. Okay. Now, do you guys understand that? I don't build ugly websites. I build very nice websites. If you want to see, I'll just show you. For example, this one. It's like I built 2 years ago, something like that. I'll just show you 1 second. Let it load. It's going to load because of cold start. It's a complex thing. Anyway, I'll show you in a bit. It's very ugly because I don't want to confuse you with a lot of styling, okay? Take a look at this thing. It looks good, right? Master is email.com. 975, let's log in. It looks good, right? It's a to-do list where you can add a new note. You can give it a date. You can set a deadline, post, or you can delete, you can edit some node, you can delete something, you can log out. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But this one is ugly because I want to teach you the core fundamental things, not like design and something, which is pretty easy. Okay. Anyway, let's start designing. Okay. Where was I? Yeah. Let's delete this. As you can see, this is it doesn't look good at all. But let's make it just a little bit good. Okay. You see, CSS, it's the same thing. In CSS, what can you do? You will write style, right? Style, and then something, some CSS. But now in React, you put two curly braces. This is just how it works. I don't know why it's like that, but you just put two curly braces and then write your CSS in camel case. So before this, you will do in CSS, you'll write what? Border color, right? Border dash color. This is not camel case. This is like, I think snake case or something like that. Here, you keep all the keyword, everything, but put it in camel case. So delete this, put it like this. Yeah, border color, let's say red, something like that. Okay, but we're not going to do border color. Let's do color, just normal one, normal CSS. Red. Let's save that. Now the color is red. This is called inline style in React. You put it inline. You can add a lot of key value per color red, background color white, padding, margin, everything, all the CSS stuff. So let me delete it. Or you can put the style in another like function or something like that. It's up to your creativity. It's up to you. Or you can, just like every CSS file, you can put it in your CSS file, your style and CSS file. So let's give it my own name. Let's say .avl. This is CSS, not React. I give it color. Yeah, like this blue or something. I save it. Okay. .avl, right? So I go to whatever component, let's say h1. Okay. And then I'll type class name equals Aviyel. Class name. Make sure the N is capital, okay? Camel case. Now it's gonna work. You see? Now it works. So before this, I wrote the code here in line. Now I just wrote the class name. Okay, that's the styling. That's it, guys, for the first project. It's done. It's completely done. Okay. Do you guys understand React? What do you think? This is the majority of stuff here. What do you think of this? Yeah. Is it easy? What do you think of React? Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing your. This was great. Yeah. Okay, thank you, guys. Okay, so obviously we didn't have time to do everything, right? Because I don't know, for some reason I just dragged that thing. Because if I rushed, I'm sure you wouldn't have understood. But right now, I think it's very good, like very good foundation for you. Okay, now, what are the topics in React? What are the things in React you should know? And for that, let me just tell you what you should do next. Okay, you go to YouTube. Okay, React course. Okay, there are a lot of React courses, right? Mosh is really good. A lot of people, this guy's good. A lot of people, they're good. Okay, you can watch any videos you want. Okay, you just watch. If you're like, don't watch like something like that's like 20 hours, 25 hours, because that's going to take a long time. Just watch something like 4 hours, 5 hours of video, like course, and then watch another 4-hour course and another 3-hour course, and then eventually you'll get it. And then don't forget to build project, but don't try to build it by yourself because you're a beginner. Just copy some other guy, change it a little bit, maybe even put it on your portfolio. You just repeat that, and then the first time change a little bit. The next time you change even more. The third time you change the implementation even more. Okay, but now let me show you. Just like for 5 minutes, one of my projects. Okay, it's like a social media. It's a boring project, but it's a social media project. Okay, so that I'll tell you which technology to learn to implement something like this. Okay, you should take note of this so that when you know the path, it's going to be easy for you. What happened? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So this is a very silly social media app. Okay, you want to log in, sign up, right? I'll make it very quick. Okay, the first thing is that as you can see, the design looks okay. It's pretty good. Okay, log in, sign up, whatever. Okay, how you'll do that? You're not going to do it by yourself. You will learn a design library for React. One of the popular one is Material UI. They will do all the design for you. You just take it, put it on your website. It's very cool, right? You've got Material UI, you've got Bootstrap, a lot of stuff. You see, you've got designers who will do that for you, and then you just use it. Okay, that's Material UI. And then for this one, log in, log out. Yeah, everything is Material UI. Add picture. For this one, you should learn Cloudinary. This one. It's very complex. Don't learn now, but later on you learn Cloudinary. It's a tool which lets you to upload picture and save picture. Okay, and then for icon, all of that, Material UI is, yeah, it's that master user. The other stuff there, the backend. Okay, one more, and then you should learn. You see, you've got data, right? Social media data, right? For that, to render it very nicely, very professionally, you should learn React hooks. For that, you can go to my. I wrote an article. Let me just. I'll put it in the chat box. React hooks summarize like crazy. So there are 4 main hooks in React. Hooks mean like a function that lets you do something. You should learn that to make sure you're really up to date with the latest React practice. So I'll put it in the chat box. You can go ahead and take a look at that, read that, and read more even on YouTube. You should learn that. So the design, for that, you can learn any design course, like how to make nice design website, nice website design. And finally, one more thing I want to tell you is that whenever you're learning Bootstrap or Material UI, something like that, everything is nice. Just make sure you also learn one very important topic, which is responsive design. So that when you view it on mobile, for example, this is how it's going to look like on your computer. It's going to look like this, but then on an iPad, it's going to look something like this. On a mobile, it's going to change, and then this side menu, it's going to disappear, something like that. Just learn. When you're learning design library like Material UI and Bootstrap, also learn responsive design. Okay, so React and any design libraries like like Material UI, Bootstrap, learn Cloudinary, and then you are done for front-end project. For front-end, there's one more technology. If you've done all of that, there's one more technology which I want to tell you, which is Next.js. Okay, Next.js. What that does is that once React is good, everything, this one, it gives you extra power. I don't want to confuse you. It's server-side rendering. I don't want to confuse you. You can do your own research. But once you're done with everything, React is good. You know how to build a project. Just learn Next.js. Just trust me. You just learn this. You are good. You are good. You can work anywhere in the world you want. There's nothing beyond this for front end. This is everything. Okay. You learn this. This is good enough. So that's all from me. React, hooks, Cloudinary, Next.js, design library, and responsive design. That's all you have to learn. So yeah, that's it for me. Any questions? We're going to wrap it up. And I'm sorry for taking so much of your time because I don't know how to summarize things. Yeah. Any questions, guys, before we wrap it up? I'm sorry I take so much of your time. It's like 2 a.m. in Malaysia. That's like 12:30, like 12 or something like that in India. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
So once again, Ishak, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, just love the way the session went on, and being that a raw character, actually the natural character of web developer, about Googling stuff and everything. Really enjoyed it. I think this will instill confidence in the newbie developers who are trying to be here. I would repeat once again the series we are doing over here. This is Contributor Roadmap series. So it is a step-by-step approach towards open source contributions with interactive sessions and mentorship. Right. So if you're someone who's looking forward to gain exposure as a first contributor towards any open source project or in general, this is definitely an opportunity you would don't want to miss out on. Right. So once again, thank you so much for everyone being here, and Ishak, thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah. So, bye guys.